For certain car enthusiasts of a certain age, there is one car that sat on our bedroom walls, our poster car, our dream, that we wanted more than any other. And you can blame James Bond, 1977, the spy who loved me, for creating that desire, the Esprit S1.
Ever got the feeling somebody doesn't like you?
Now that early car was designed by Giorgetto Giugiaro, of course. Amazing piece of design, but fast forward to the 1980s and Lotus realised that as good as that car was and as handsome as it wasn't going to cut it. If they were going to sell against the likes of Ferrari and Porsche, they needed something better, softer, something that reflected the design language of the time. And what they came up with, thanks to another design legend, Peter Stevens, was the X180, a much nicer looking car based on the original Giugiaro design. Now Peter had his work cut out. There were certain things he couldn't touch. The glass house, the A pillar, the B pillar, the C pillar, all of that couldn't be touched. But he was able to do a lot of very clever stuff and still keep the spirit of the car. Apparently Giugiaro actually met Peter at a motor show, loved what he'd done, thought he'd looked after his baby, apparently was the phrase that he used. And you can't argue with that. I think it's a very, very pretty car, the X180. And then fast forward to the S4, which is this shape, and then Peter's friend and protege, Julian Thompson, came in and softened it even more. And I think this, the GT3, is the absolute zenith of that model range. This, to me, is the car that includes all of the greatest bits of the design. The finest bits of Giugiaro in the middle, the best bits of Peter Stevens on the top and boot, and then Julian Thompson's amazing S4 finisher with his gorgeous softline bumper, sills and rear wing that, to me, make the prettiest of all the Esprits. So what makes the GT3 special? Well, first of all, low production numbers, less than 200 made. The other thing is the engine. This is a 2-litre turbocharged engine, produces 240 horsepower, but in a car that weighs only 1,260 kilos. A very focused machine. And it almost goes back to Lotus' original philosophy of simplify and add lightness. Now, although at this time there were V8 engines available, there were larger 2.2 turbocharged engines available, all of which had more power than this, the reason that the purists and the enthusiasts and the aficionados rate this model so much is purely balance. 240 horsepower in a car like this is just about perfect. This is baby bear's porridge stuff, this. Just enough power to drive exceptionally quickly with incredible balance, but not so much it feels like it's going to kill you all the time. So for those that like to pedal very, very quickly indeed, this is a wonderful car. It's a car that you can drive really fast all of the time. The engine being so small and so far forward in the chassis, it's perfect mid-engine balance. And of course it's singing behind your ear, so it makes all the right noises. It's a quick old stick, but it's probably not going to fire you off. Another thing about the S4 is by this point, Lotus really had nailed cabin quality, build quality, fit and finish. Don't get me wrong, if you're coming out of a Porsche or a Lexus, this will feel a little bit like the individual hand-finished British car that it is. But in Lotus terms, we're at the highest point, the zenith of quality control. And it really does make a difference to the cabin ambience. The GT3 also got a couple of really nice bits. Got this narrow instrument binnacle, which of course is leather clad. Got this wonderful Momo wheel, no airbag of course. We die like men. You've also got this fantastic machine shifter, colour-coded tunnel, and you'll notice the matching seat backs as well. It really is a great place to be. You'll also notice me at 6'4" with very long legs. I fit. By this point, they really had optimised the cabin space the best they could. And what you're left with is a car that takes long, tall people. And I fit quite comfortably. I've done reasonably long journeys in Esprit S4s. They're a good car. They're a proper GT. They're quick. They're a lovely driving motor car, but you've got decent boot space in the back. You could do a long weekend with a couple of squashy bags in this. And I think you won't be too exhausted when you got there. The other thing about this particular car, this beautiful chrome orange, is they only made 2 GT3s in this colour. It's a really nice pearlescent metallic orange. It's a gorgeous colour. It looks nice, probably looks flat on your TV, but in real life, particularly in the sunshine, it absolutely pops. Very rare colour on this car. Totally makes it, in my point of view, and I think makes it look like the baby supercar that it is. Now, the chances are, if you're looking at this video or looking at this listing, you're thinking of an Esprit, and you might be thinking, which is the best of all the Esprits? Obviously, I'm trying to sell you this one because it's the one that we've got. But who independently could assess them all back to back and tell you which is the one that you should buy? Well, in 2013, Evo magazine and Jethro Bovingdon, one of the greatest writers, drivers and presenters in the world, drove every single Esprit back to back. Everything from the S1 through the Essex, all the way up to the thumping V8s, and guess which one he chose as the best of breed. The finest of its type, the 2-litre turbocharged GT3. Not my words, ladies and gentlemen, those of Jeffrey Bovingdon. So if you want to buy the car in the rarest colour, the lowest production numbers, that Evo magazine think is the finest of all the Esprits, here it is.